All right, well, good morning, folks. Welcome to Robot Chores. And I'm Steve Jennings from Grasshorse, and we are going to be texturing a servo today. So it's been a little bit since I've streamed, so I forget what the buttons do. So anyways, it may be a little bumpy of a ride. So here we go. To start off with here, if you've seen some of the past videos, you'll know that we were going through and modeling this servo in 3D, and I wanted to add some labels to it that were actually on the servo, one of them being right here, and the other one, I believe, being somewhere over here. And I went through, and I didn't have any photos online at the time, and so I went ahead and took some photos. These two here, and you can see that they are like this one here, we only need this piece here, and on this one here we only need this label right there. So let's go ahead and pull those into Photoshop and work with them there. Probably should have started Photoshop before this whole video, but anyway, while that's starting, I can show you over here where we were at. I did environment texture back there. This is just one that's an open source or a Creative Commons shared image, and I wanted to put it in there just to get an idea of what the servo is looking like in 3D. And I had, and again, we're not really intending for this to be photorealistic, but I just kind of wanted to take it to that level. Not that we're going to model everything to this extent, but it's just kind of what I was wanting to go through and show you guys. So anyways, let's see if Photoshop is open now. Where are you? Okay, it's not. So this right here is the UVMap. I believe this here is that one part there is the top part right here, and this here is the other section over here, under here. Okay, so we will, before we can actually even do anything in Photoshop, it's good that I open this up, is we need to export the UV layout. So we're gonna go here, here, here. It's already there. It's already there. It's a couple versions ago, but you can see it there. So, okay. And then I'll go over here. Let's open the other two also. There's that. Cool. And so we're going to want to make sure, and so this is the texture we're actually going to use to map it onto the surface. So let's, okay, let's go here and let's see first off, like image size. What's the image size? In pixels. Now, so we're going to double it. Okay, so we doubled that. So I can take this piece here, copy it. Hopefully it's still pretty big. Well, you know what? Maybe we need to go back to Control T, hold Shift as I rotate. Boop, 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 boop. So it constrains it to, I thought I'd just do it at 45 degree. Looks like I did about 15. Now, I don't really want to scale this up. I mean, the question is, see, it's more than half. So I guess technically it is a little bit better to scale it up here than it is to do it in with the smaller resolution. All right, I'm just gonna open it up again. Go on, escape. All right, delete that. Okay, we're gonna go back to 1024 by 1024. Paste. Hold T. Hold Shift. Rotate. Line this up there. Lining that up down there. The best. Abilities. Take this. And see, it automatically constrains. It's weird. I'm still getting used to a new version of Photoshop. Before you'd hold Shift and it would constrain proportions, and now it constrains it on default, and you have to hold Shift to have it not constrain. I guess that keeps people from accidentally warping their images in a weird way. Okay, we'll try that. And then, where are you? Where's the other one? Boom. There's that. Copy that. Here, paste. Control T. I guess I need to put the whole thing in here. In fact, let's just escape, delete that. Go back here. Control D to deselect. Okay, there's that. Control C. Control V. And I don't know orientation-wise if this is correct or not or whatever. And it probably would have been good to actually scale this, and well, those aren't constrained together. And that's not exactly sharp. Well, anyway, I'm not going to tweak it now because I think we're going to be scaling it down in resolution anyways, so you won't even necessarily know. And it's not square on there, so let's take it like this. Let's scale it down. We're just going to put it in there and see where it's at. Actually, before I can do that, though, I can do this. Quick select. Cool. There's that. Go here, hit the map button. Boop. There it goes. Went the wrong way. So select this. Control I. Come on. Control I to inverse. Okay, we still have it there if we need it. Control T. And we'll just put it there for now. We'll look at the original. I think it was actually bigger than that. Something like that. And we do have some extra image here we don't need. And so I will do Control Shift I to select the opposite and then just delete it. Control D, deselect everything. Cool. All right, so then we're going to save as. This is really version 1, Rascal. don't know what's going on there. All right. Yeah, we can do it as Photoshop at first here. Great. Why is that that shouldn't be capped? Okay, well. I'm going to do a cancel. Let's turn this off. And see, there's still some problems here. There's that. That. And then fill with black. So in the alpha, I fill the alpha with black in those spots because there was a little line showing up. I have semi-transparent pixels out there. It did make it bigger than the actual original image, but that's all right. All right, so we're going to save this again. Control-Shift-S. I'm going to make it a PNG. Cool. That's fine. All right, so go back over here. And now we should be able to go back to the node editor. Cool. Go Shift A, and we're going to bring a texture. We're going to bring that texture in. So run the UV into this vector, hit open. We'll go to where the texture's at, where the texture is. Okay. I'm just thinking about some things here. Shift A. Shader, add shader. We're going to do, what is this, a principled? Enter this one. Base color runs in here. Over here. Shader, to go to a mix shader. Run that there. This comes in top. This goes in bottom. This alpha should drive it. Did that work? It looks a little different, but the color is not quite there. Did I get it backwards? There it is. Well, that's interesting. I didn't intend for that to happen, but it looks like this is on the wrong side for the QC stamp. Because that's actually this image here, bleeding over into here. So that, and it looks like this needs to be scaled up a bit too, so that that fills this section, because that is weird adding that to here. You can see how much bluer this actually is than the other piece. Interesting. Okay, so we'll turn this on again. Turn on the UV layer, put it over top. Control, and we're going to go to this layer here. Control T, and we will scale this up. trying to fill that up right there, fill that. We'll do that one. Go here. Control T here. This is at least twice as big. So save that, apply. Replace it. Oh, that's right. I forgot to turn off the UV map, but you can see how that relates to this object here. That's where all the actual UVs are, right? So if I click on this and tab in, you can see that that's actually mapped out where the UVs are. Kind of cool. That does fill much better now. It comes over in here probably still. Is that the right size? That is about the right size. So I'm going to leave it. Okay, so we'll go back over here. We'll turn that off. Oh, actually, before I turn it off. See, this is that edge that causes it to bleed over. And I should have been paying more attention to not make that right there, because that's really tight. But anyway, we're going to go over here, select this, go down, and I'm just going to right on that edge. Select that. I mean, I suppose I could take that face and just scale it way down and put it over here. That's probably the better thing to do. I'm not going to remap everything, but I could just remap that one face. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so this is the face that's causing problems. I'm going to go to UVMap here. And so before I do that, A, B, Shift S, cursor selected. Darn it, that's not what I want to do. Shift S. Cursor selected. Okay, there we go. Now, go over here, select this, B, Shift S, select the cursor. Boom. Has me thinking a bit here. Okay, so let's turn this off. Save this. We are going to oh man. I'm hopping through a few things in my head about what we're going to do next year. Not that it's always that hard to save a file. But I'm just thinking about how to solve a problem I'm seeing that's coming up. That this sheen and this one, how do we get these to, now this one doesn't have a problem as much because it has a barrier already there to say between this image and this image. But down here, we don't. That's why we have this problem right there. So let's see what we can do. First off, let's just grab this, and it'll probably make it a whole lot clearer now what the issue is, or not. Oh yeah, because we used the alpha. Okay, the reason why it didn't cause a problem is because we actually used the alpha to cut that shape, right? I used this alpha to drive it up there, so this over, it actually cut right here. And it looks pretty good. Now the thing I'm seeing here is over in general, see how warm this black is here versus this? This is super blue, and this is very warm. And it's probably because I took the picture inside here. It was fairly warm, but I like this better than I like the other one. But I could, you know what? I should just do a look at some color adjustments here. Autotone, auto color. Let's see what that does. Wow, that's actually not too bad. Okay. All right, so then let's pull in updated imagery, see if it mirrors better. Oh, it's a lot better. I mean, it's definitely picking up more of a daylight color to it. It's picking up that environment a whole lot better, where the warm color is just kind of distracting. I'm not seeing as much of an issue now. Now the question is when I look at, so when I look at this here, and that's all, is that Hi-Tec logo, does the Hi-Tec logo, it seems a little bit milkier and lighter than the Servo is. Now, I just adjusted the contrast on it, so when I did that auto color, and so I think it dropped that black down quite a bit, but let's actually bring that back up again. We'll just do it in Photoshop. I'm going to do Control L for levels. And we're not going to pull this off because that just chops off your data. Same thing with this one. You want to do as little, you want to move these two as little as possible and adjust the gamma in the center, because you're not actually losing color data that way. Okay, so let's try that. Save this, Control Shift S. You don't want to actually, I mean, that's why you don't want to use brightness and contrast. You want to use levels to achieve the same effect, because you don't lose your color data. All right. It is fairly specular, and there is very little roughness on those. It's like a, now specular TI, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily, no anisotropic. A sheen, does it have a sheen a little bit maybe? A sheen tint. I am just guessing with all of this. seeing what's going to work. Wow, see, that's now, it's not that smooth. So we're going to do a 0.05. That's still more than I would expect. And this is more of a sheen than I would expect too. Go to with adding, like, you know, some masks to have like grungify this, you know, make it more scratched and stuff like that, so it's not absolutely perfect out of the mold product, you know, that it's actually gone through and had some life and those types of things, because my servos certainly have all kinds of scratches and things like that on there. Let's see, where are we at time-wise? We're about 28 minutes in there. I think I might go through and quickly do something. So we've got the texturing of those two parts. I want to go through and slap a subdivision surface on top of this. And then we can go through and actually look at some of the odd things that are kind of happening as a result of that. So click this little triangle here, and then all of a sudden it snaps the edges to where they have moved to. And so we're going to add some creasing here. Shift E1. And at first, I'm gonna do them entirely sharp. I should probably do more like a Shift E.75, or like a, you know, just to create a little bit of a edge there. Shift E.15. So that's basically a Shift E.9 total. Okay. Basically recreating where the seams are, right? And letting it smooth out spots that it wants to, like, you know, these corners and things like that. there's any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm seeing something funky down there. What is that? There's that. Roop. What is that? Yeah, I started actually doing this morning. I was like, wait a second, I should probably just go ahead and stream this process. So I was like, I want to have a subdivision surface version of this. I'll be able to turn it on and off. And then I started noticing some little issues here and there too. And I'm like, well, now I need to show how this process, even if you're not going to have subdivision surface on for your final piece, it's helpful to determine like if there are some issues with the mesh, like because it will pinch in an odd way if the mesh is not properly connected, like if there are things that are non-manifold, or if there's maybe faces that aren't complete. It's just a good mechanism to use just to make sure that your mesh is tight. I haven't even gone through the 3D toolbox part yet, but see, like stuff like this, see, there's a problem right there. See it? See how it pinches in like that? There's probably a face in there that shouldn't be there. See it? Right there. So if I go back to Z, it's right there. It's hidden. If I hit X, boop, faces, bloop, see how it relaxes? And so that pinchiness is just caused by faces that really shouldn't be there, especially if you're going through and doing mirror modifiers. It's just easy that stuff just kind of shows up because you weren't thinking about it as you're using the mirror modifier. It doesn't necessarily, well, it does show up in the mirror modifier, but for some reason after you've mirrored it and you throw a subdivision surface on there, it's really easy to see them. Okay. There's definitely something going on down here. I don't know if it is, it's on both sides. I don't know what the issue is yet. So let's investigate. I don't see a strange face in there. So there's that. Z. Actually, I think I know what it is. This here needs to be sharpened. There's a little quad down there. Why is there a little quad down there? Or it's a little try. Probably because I didn't want to have it. Yeah, I see. It's kind of in that corner. Try there, and so this one here needs to have it also. Shift E1. Cool. We're getting there. All right, this side, all this side needs the same thing. Look at those weirdos. I don't know what that is. Oh, I see. So, which are the right ones? Well, I mean, you could say that this one or this one. Basically, they're probably, if I turn this off, they're right on top of each other. So I'm going to say this one needs to go to here. And this one needs to go to here. What is this? Is that on the other side? I don't think it is. Well, there's some strangeness on the other side. Okay, so likely Shift E1. That starts to make it a little bit clearer. All right, but there still is a problem. I think there might have been one on the other side too. There we go. I think there was one, but he fixed it. Okay, so this one here needs still. So I was talking to some folks about I have an upcoming class in Des Moines coming up on November 17th. I think it's sold out already, but I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to see more folks be able to do more of those. I think they could only do 20 students, and so I guess it sold out, and it's, with the Produce Iowa is sponsoring it, and And I think that they want to do more of them in the future. Maybe even other parts around the state of Iowa here. They have a lot, I mean, they have a lot of classes, man. I really wish I could have, and I think they all sold out. You know, I think all the classes sold out. They had an audio one about production sound. I thought that was interesting. They have a producing one. They have one on fundraising. They had a PA one and a grip one, grip class. So it's very cool. Okay, getting closer. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, there's a faceted edge to this thing, so let's do that. Make sure that that's emphasized. Oop-a-doop-a-doo. I do not know if we really need to have these sharpened here along the way. I don't actually think we do. We need them sharpened right there. try not to add sharpening unless it visually helps what it is that we're working on. See, yeah, on this side we didn't sharpen it. That's fine. That should be fine there then too. And technically speaking, you know, this doesn't need to be sharpened here. It's not actually doing anything. All right, cool. So we did all that for this reason, to make sure that everything's looking good here, so that we have much nicer curves and arcs in there. Take out some of that faceting. Just get a better idea of what our shader is actually doing. Now, there are some things here that I look at and go, I don't know if they need to be as sharp as they are. I do not think this edge does, nor this edge needs to be that sharp. They almost have a rounded over feel. Same with this one here. Now, I'm not sure I love that Veroni texture here. That's what this is right here, this Veroni texture. That creates some of that kind of spottedness to it. I'll give it 250, make it a lot bigger. It looks like it's stretchy a little bit. 1,000. Well, I think I like it at 1,000. All right, so let's see if we can do it. I'm not going to do it in this view because it's too hard to see. So we're going to go into texture mode. So tab into that. This one, this one. I'll do all this one big straight shot. One fell swoop. One fell swoop. I think this one too, up here. Why am I doing it all at once? Oh, because I kind of want to visually see how it affects everything as you dial it back. All right, that is enough to at least get the idea of what's happening. Okay, so if you do Shift E -1, everything goes away, right? Because this is all like an additive process. So do Shift E 0.9. That gives a little bit. That just gives, like, 90% sharpness. If I want to dial it back a little bit, it goes Shift E -0.1. That's now at 80% because it was at 90. Now I subtracted 10% off of that. And I thought that actually did a lot. So let's take a look at this here now. Yeah, see how it created that nice little kind of a more of a beveled or a rounded over look. Now they will mellow out. Of course, it takes longer to render, but I think it looks pretty good. The question is, do it at 3 or at 4? I believe if I go over here, I believe I am still in the object. Hold on, let's take a look. I am. So even though we can't adjust, we can't select or deselect edges in this view, I can still do Shift E minus, let's say, 0.3, enter. And that will create even more of a rounded over look. So maybe that's a little bit too soft. Shift E 0.25. Yeah, that is definitely helping. Something going on there. I wonder if that has to do with the sharpening. I don't know. Oh, great. I'm going to go in there and mess with some more of that. So let's do this one here. And so we know that we basically want 0.75 sharpening for everything. Shift E minus 0.25. I don't know if this got sharpened or not. Shift E minus 1. Shift E 0.75. Okay, here we go. I know none of these down here did. And I'm not doing these inner corners. I'm just kind of doing the ones that pop out. period to center that. Okay, so on that side is okay. And since I'm grabbing some that are already sharpened and some that aren't, I'm going to basically subtract all of the sharpening, remove it entirely, and then add it back. So there are a few here that weren't sharpened at all. Shift E -1, Shift E 0.75. I see one here that shouldn't be sharpened. Okay. This one probably does not need to be sharpened. Same with on the other side. Oddly, down here on the bottom, it doesn't look as rounded over. It looks sharper. Now, is it that sharp? Now, so since I'm selecting things here, I went ahead and selected these, and I'm not deselecting the other ones because I'm just going to do subtractive, and those are already at 0, so they can't go any lower than 0. So I will go ahead and say that, and so Shift E -0.1. And that's not enough. Shift E -0.1. Okay, that's at like 80%. Shift E -0.2. Okay, and then let's look at it again. Cool. Groovy. I'm going to save it and version up. Great. Cool. All right. Well, I think that is probably it for this video. I might turn around and do another one. I don't know. We'll see here. And maybe not this morning. I don't know. But the next things I'd like to do is I'd like to maybe add some screws to the bottom of it. For sure, we need to model out a servo horn. So that's probably coming up next, is to model that out and then texture that and apply it to get it pretty precise and alike. So that's probably coming up next. But anyway, I hope you liked like how the servo turned out. I think that's, for the most part, in terms of the main body and the texturing, I think that's pretty much it. And other than that, it's now, I guess, the screws on the bottom and that servo horn, and then we go on from there. So, thank you for checking out